Always connect with new people. So that's number one. The other thing that I would urge people to do is don't be afraid to reinvent yourself.
What advice do you have for people they can kind of keep reinventing themselves and keep their expertise current?
I think, well, number one, I think it's very important for individuals to connect with some good people. Number one, right? Because I was speaking in Kazan, Russia, of all places. In fact, I spoke in Kazan, Russia the next month after I was at Social Media Week Miami, because remember I left that the next day, went to NATO, and then next week I went to Malaysia. So a young man, he asked me, what kind of advice could you give me? So I said, let me see if I could give him some advice I've never given anybody. And I said, always connect. It's almost like the Glengarry thing where it's always be connecting. I said, always connect with new people, because there are people who, again, not most people, but a lot of key people may become over familiar with you. It's, you know, I forgot his name. I said, they'll say, oh, I know his shtick, that kind of thing. But if you're connecting with new people and you are constantly looking and supporting them in different ways, then once this group drops off, you're going to constantly have this group that's there, that's a part of your infrastructure. So it's not like you don't have an infrastructure anymore. And he said that he bought into the theory. He was a teenager. He said he bought into the theory that you only need 150 people, or some guy. It's an old theory. And I said, no. I said, well, for me, I can't do that. I said, maybe if it was just 150 people, but it's not. It's billions of people. And that's billions of people. That's billions. I told him, I said, it's billions of possibilities, billions of connections. And if you can, with the right everything, it's billions of dollars. So he just said, yeah. I said, yes, dude, always connect with new people. So that's number one. The other thing that I would urge people to do is don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. So if you look back at 2009, I got in, I said I wanted to do two things. I wanted to blog, and I felt that blogging would set me up for Huffington Post like in 3 years, but I got in there in like 6 months. Then I said that I wanted to build up my following to 10,000 followers, because I would heard that 10,000, which is still the case, 10, 15,000 would put you on sort of the radar of different businesses and so forth. But I said I wanted to do that so that I could reach different people, that kind of thing. And so, but then I ended up getting like 10,000. I think by the end of the year, I was at 10,000, but then it just kept going up and up and up. And I said, okay, I write for HuffPost. Let me go ahead and embrace, do some articles, start my own, series with some individuals. But then right after that, I went on and embraced, or maybe right before that, but probably it started like say 2011, but I started getting into events. I would go in, and I said this downstairs, sometimes you're gonna do events and it's just 2 people there. Sometimes you're gonna do events and it's 0 people. It's just you and the person whose home or facility it is, and you're like, okay. And that happens, and then it just keeps going, you keep going. But that was reinvention, and then once 2013 came, Forbes gave me that honor. Forbes did that because of the power of the series. And when you look at that list, 20 of those people, at least 20, 21 of those people, I think, were in the series. It was close to about 20. And I'm pretty sure it was just like, okay, well, this is his series. He profiled them, promoted them in ways that had not been done previously, and this is the HuffPost, and then I was working for Microsoft. So it was just a perfect storm, that moment. And that's what happened. But I said, I want to go ahead and do a couple of things. One, got into Giving Tuesday. I was asked to be a Giving Tuesday ambassador for the United Nations. And that happened in 2013. But then I started speaking globally, which was absolutely amazing. And 2015 was, again, when I was here, I was spoke in 8 countries. I think I've ever spoken in 8 countries. Even since then, maybe like 6, 5, but 8 was pretty surreal. And then about maybe 2 years ago, I started just putting 2 and 2 together, saying, look, you know what? Okay, I'm in social media, but now these companies are using AI algorithms to control who sees what you post and what you see of even the people who you're following. You can't really see everybody. You got to pay to see people. So that's what it was. So it was like events, blogging and thought leadership. And there's a number of things. So, and then now that I think AI, I'm not sure if I'm ready to call it the defining technology of our time, but I think it's certainly, it has the potential to be one of them, because once you add quantum, that quantum computing, a quantum brain with AI, that's going to be just absolutely insane. So I'm looking for that and watching that. But yeah, reinvention is important, and I just think you have to not even know what you're doing, because most people, and you were talking about the guy V, he would even say that most people don't know what they're doing. Anybody tell you that they know completely what's going on? That's not even the case. Just jump in it, craft it, but you have to have some really good people, and you have to understand, just kind of understand that, some of the people who are with you now, in your corner, may not be in your corner for all kinds of reasons. Jealousy, maybe they've been pulled in a different way, but keep pressing, keep moving forward, and some things will happen for you.
There's a world of people out there who are feeling that artificial intelligence or the concept even, the technology of it and the complexity of it, is beyond the scope of their educations and their expertise and their experiences. What can marketers do to prepare themselves to deal with artificial intelligence over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, number one, probably identify good tools out there. There's some good AI tools, amazing AI tools. I talked about this. AI, it can help you with blogging, because you probably saw this big article, Rise of the Robot Reporter, and that was the New York Times this year. Probably easily my favorite article of the year, but it's my favorite article of the year because it's just like, nothing surprised me, but it was the scale of it. Like the fact that the Washington Post uses it, for minor league baseball games. I mean, to produce articles on this, not a human, but using AIs. Bloomberg, Los Angeles Times uses it for articles on earthquakes, that kind of thing. So I think identify the tools, number one. But I just think that if you're a marketer out there, yes, you invest the time to take an online course as well. So because, and we talked about this earlier, about the fact that if you look at Alvin Toffler, the former writer and theorist, and Alvin Toffler. So his books, his trilogy, Future Shock, Third Wave, and Power Shift. Now those are 3 of my favorite books. But Third Wave was like, agricultural economy required a certain skill set. The industrial economy required a certain skill set. In fact, the industrial economy was really more specialization. All you had to do was be good at one thing, maybe multiple things, but not on the scale of what's happening right now. Right now, it's lifelong learning. And it's lifelong learning, meaning you're going to have to update your skills so many times throughout the year, so many times, it's just, it could get probably very frustrating for a person who's working on an assembly line or doing this repetitive job that now automation is doing. So that's the thing. I think if you want to remain relevant, just, like in whatever you're doing, constantly update your skills, be hungry for the information and for the trends that are driving whatever it is in your field.
How can we take artificial intelligence and storytelling and combine those together for marketers? What is the future of storytelling in a marketing sense with the advent of artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, I know that for me, AI is not a magic bullet. That's the thing. It's just like anything, it's a tool. And I think as long as a marketer, looks at that, and understands that, I think they'll be fine. So as we were talking about Alexis doing this commercial, that was pretty stunning. I mean, and it's pretty standard car commercial, and I guess it might have been 60 seconds, but an AI produced this. It created it. So when you look at this, I think that the two things. Two things immediately. One is, yes, look at social media. Look at artificial intelligence as a tool.
Right.
Okay. But also understand, and people have to be sort of like trained to also understand this thing about deep fakes, because, and that's the thing downstairs. I was talking about AI ethics. Like, I could see people at some point saying, okay, if you can create something in the back, or you can create this, because again, there's a website that's creating real looking faces. I forgot the name of it, but it's creating it's always creating these real faces of individuals, like our faces, anybody just looks like us. So I think the ethics part of it has to be a part of what a marketer is doing. You have to have that. And then if you do go down the route of using AI to sort of to create a scenario or create something that's not there, you're saying that you have to be in with your you have to understand that that's how you can really destroy the trust and the connection with your audience. So I think the ethics part, in terms of how you're going to use AI, but also understand that the kind of things that make storytelling good, just the power of the story, like, for example, if it's storytelling regarding a customer, the customer should be, the center of whatever it is, So an AI can help you do that. But as long as you're putting that human element, as long as people feel the human element, if an AI is helping you create it, that's fine. But as long as just the audience gets the human feeling from it, I think that's good. Again, use it for storytelling. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's a very affordable tool right now, too, by the way. It used to be just kind of held in the hands of a few people. Now it's out there, and if it's out there, you use it, it's affordable, and help you with just about everything from sales, recruiting. Yeah.
It seems like the people that, if you've got the cookie cutter types of approaches, then I think that's where AI can probably come in and help. And with the other ones, it might be also on the idea that if you're trying to be creative, then maybe this is a chance to actually kind of combine with the AI, right?
Absolutely.
As you mentioned,
yeah.
Right? Let the AI guide you into what you think is important, but then go back to the creativity that's going to be up to the human element.
And I was talking, I said that creativity is one of the things that, one of the skills that the World Economic Forum says that we will need, by I think it was 2030, but it was one of the skills that I think that they put up there in 2005 that we would need in 2015. And so creativity was like number 7 or something like that. And now it's going to it's jumping up there, like number 2, number 3. So people skills, creativity, all those things are going to be necessary, because they know that the economy's changing, functions change, because that's what AI is doing. It's eliminating a function. People, Elon Musk would say it's eliminating jobs. Well, a person can make that argument as well, but for the time being, it's helping you with functions. As it helps you with functions and such, use it to just kind of scale whatever operation you have.
All right, well, thanks. Well, and luckily we have a creative person here with us, and we're very grateful that you came all the way to Seattle, across the country and down south, all the way to get here.
I love
So we'll hopefully get you to come back again.
Anytime.
And but anyway, thank you very much.